Thank you. Thank you all for coming here this afternoon on this absolutely drop-dead Southern Arizona day. I do want to comment about Jonathan in this building. Yes, I did work here when I was in college. What he left out was after or during the course of my chemotherapy treatments in 2005, when I had lymphoma, he made it very clear, he and his wife Colette, that when I wanted to, we could host cancer fundraising events here, and we did. We have. We've been successful here. So this has been a little bit of a home establishment for me. And for this young man, folks, this man is a combat veteran for the United States. He's flown the F-15 Strike Eagle, and the A-10 Thunderbolt, was the commander Davis-Monthan Air Force Base when I met him. And he humbly calls himself my wingman, and I couldn't be more grateful for that, Dad, looking out in the cockpit and having you on the wing. So
I'm with you right now.
Thank you very much. Well, it's true. I've been here for nearly 40 years. I've been involved with a lot of activities in this community. I have been here for the booms, the busts. I've experienced success, and I've also experienced a few failures in my lifetime. So my life is very much like that of most of us who lived here in Southern Arizona. And I consider myself very much a Southern Arizonan. But I consider myself an American more so. I think that's important. I think right now we need more Americans and less party members, to be perfectly honest. Right now, this country has been limited by actions in Washington, D.C., our prosperity and our opportunity. And it's not just about us. You've heard this before. It's about the next generation and the generation behind them. In other words, our children and our grandchildren. Credit card debt's done. We need to fix this. We need to fix it now. I'd like to steer this country in new and bold directions as the representative from District 8, and perhaps someday from a new district after redistricting occurs. Ken is right. I do look at our history. I look at what has been our best moments, our best methods, our best practices as a country. I'd like to emulate them. And I want to refute any and all actions that our Congress might take that does not embrace what the forefathers asked us to do, and Jefferson so brilliantly wrote, seeking life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. None of us really wanted a special election. I'm grateful, and we're all grateful for that our government and our way of thinking allows us to fulfill an unplanned vacancy in our government. And so we have this special election process. And at the same time, we understand and acknowledge it was one criminal act that brought us here. With that in mind, I think we all salute the service of Gabrielle Giffords in this seat, her tireless devotion to winning the seat and also performing while she has been in office. I can't imagine what went through her mind when she realized it would be in the best interest of all concerned to resign. It was a courageous act. And with that, if I am elected, I will honor that legacy of service, regardless of whatever political differences we might have. That very sincere devotion to this district. I would like to represent taxpayers. I think they have been abandoned, quite frankly. We in this country have several important issues before us, but I think three that come to mind for this district. Jonathan alluded to one just a moment ago. I can look and draw a circle on a map around here, and I'll show you shuttered restaurants. Some of them family-owned operations that have been successful for years. Some of them chain restaurants. I look at restaurants because I grew up in the restaurant business and I worked here years ago, as you've already heard. What's the impact of that? Not just the dining community does it, it's the families that are affected because somebody in the family doesn't have a job anymore. Somebody lost their investment. Now when restaurants go away, sometimes it's because of a natural course of commerce. Sometimes it's because of mismanagement. I get that. But right now, my sense is it's because our economy has been strangled. We need to take a good hard look at how this country is going to get back on a track where Americans, free to perform in that marketplace we call capitalism, are able to create those jobs and create that demand, and create capital. That's the great thing about this system. Capitalism is not a finite game. They're not just X amount of dollars out there. We create and grow economies. That's what has been so successful for our country. The other issue I think we need to discuss is real healthcare reform. You all remember what happened. It was a 2,700-page document that was rushed to the floor of the Congress. Did any of them really admit reading it over that night? And now we're finding out what it rots. And what it has done so far, we realize it has interrupted that very important, that sacred relationship between a doctor and a patient. We're seeing manifestations of that each and every day right now. I'm not suggesting we just repeal Obamacare. I say we replace it with something better. Something that has truly our free market initiatives in mind. Those free market initiatives with the genius of the researchers that were funded by research dollars in the free market system that created the greatest healthcare system in the world. We're going to trash it, we can improve it. So therefore I would tell you right now in Congress, I've been an advocate for replacing Obamacare with something that truly matches the wishes and desires of a free people like citizens in the United States. We're not subjects, we are citizens. Finally, there is good reason to have a real conversation about immigration in this country, legal immigration. I go back to our economy. Do you realize how many people want to legally immigrate to this country? We have to cap it every year by country. There's that kind of demand to come to this country, which represents that great bastion of liberty, that free enterprise system. They don't crash into Russia. They don't crash into other countries. They come here. There is a reason for that. Through the history of mankind, people have voted through immigration in their feet. But we need legal immigration. There is a reason to discuss why we should expand legal immigration and worker programs. But putting that aside for the moment, we need a secure border because, ladies and gentlemen, we know for a fact that the enemies that we have accumulated around the world are not giving up. We pushed a snooze button after 9/11. I think when we find out and realize what weaponry can be snuck onto, let's say, the Yucatan Peninsula, brought up Highway 15 through a porous border, and the threat that represents our citizens, our people, maybe some school in our district, I think there's reason for us to take action and cause to secure our border. For that reason alone, and separate the legitimate and important question of immigration. They are different. So with that, I'm officially announcing, with God's help, the help of these wonderful people here in the back of this corridor today at the Tucson Court, I'm announcing my candidacy officially for United States Representative of District 8 for the special election that will be in June.